neck on purpose. I could have cut it off at a rep short and unhooked it, but I purposely hooked the failure. And when I went to set the weight down, there was nothing. So I wanted to start doing these response to comments videos, not just as a clever way to, get back at troll comments or, have a little fun with that, but as a serious way to interact with the comment sections. If you guys leave me something interesting to talk about, and it could be anything, it doesn't have to necessarily be weightlifting related, I'll do a video on it. I was going through my comments and I have to go back to Christ is King 4088. I made that previous video on one of the comments he left regarding, my physical appearance. But he left me a response that, if I'm being intellectually honest, was actually quite profound. This is what he says. I don't know you personally, so everything I say is based on the videos you post and the comments posted. With that, I said, I would say for a strong, accomplished, and successful man like you, you seem extremely insecure and often contradicted yourself. You definitely don't seem satisfied with the life you're living. My advice more than anything is to focus on your blessings. Give thanksgiving. Know thyself, Charlie. You seem lost, brother. I know this seems like a lot based off of the vids you post, but you post so much, bro. Anyway, you wondered what my intent was, and there it is. I love you, man. This is me exercising my free speech and hoping you focus on what matters and give it the time and attention it deserves. I mean, damn, just the other day you could have been standing in front of God. There's a lot to unpack there. First, I'll start with I really appreciate that comment. When I read it, it was one of those ones that actually made me sit and think for a while. A while. And I started going over some of the other videos that I posted where I was talking about, things like addiction and just everything. You know me, I spew onto YouTube. I use you guys as my therapy, physical therapy, emotional therapy. My response, I said it's actually quite profound. I was surprised by it. It's so weird to say I'm not satisfied. I'm extremely grateful, but I have drive for more. I feel like I lost 10 to 20 years of my life to addiction. And now that I'm just starting to find who I am, I'm old with kids. It's already all over, and I'm just getting my stride. Physically, mentally, emotionally, professionally. I'm finally finding success, and I want to do so much more. But I look in the mirror, and I'm about to turn 50. It's already over, and I'm just getting started. That's what I'm confronted with every single day, and it does. It makes me resentful. I'll be honest with you. If I'm being 100% honest, my big conflict is with the Word of God. I have one foot in the book, and I read and study the Bible, and I'm a Christian, and I believe it. And on the other hand, I have one foot in the world, and I'm scared to give myself fully over. I feel like that means I have to give up everything I love, I've been thinking about these things for some time now, so this isn't like a new crisis, I don't know. Here's the thing. When it comes to material things, there's really nothing that I want. I mean, sure, maybe a new Mustang, whatever. I have everything a guy could possibly want. I mean, how much more crap does a person need? So the pursuit of wealth or material things has never really been a huge driver for me. I've always wanted to make sure that everybody is provided for, comfortable, and has everything they want. And for the most part, I would say we've checked those boxes off. I mean, the only thing I could do is accumulate more things or get better, fancier things. And that's just not a driver for me, especially not at my age. My family, I adore them. I love my wife. She's as beautiful to me today as she was when we first met. And she's drop dead gorgeous, and she's intellectually challenging. I love her. My kids are great. They're awesome. I have good kids. Our family is everything a man could ever ask for, and it's something that, I really struggled to get to this point because I was sort of thrown into everything. I feel like I lost 10 to 20 years of my life to addiction, where I was basically anesthetized the entire time, And through those years, I still managed to like work every day and kind of go through life, and I was reasonably successful financially. I had good jobs, good union positions where I made enough money to support a family, but I was just not there. I was just drunk. I was not the same person. When I got sober, it was like, I feel like a kid. Like I'm just starting to learn to live life. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, fuck, I'm 40. Like I'm a man. Like I need to get my crap together. I need to catch up. And as I started living this new life, I really started to experience things, and then I found powerlifting, and it was something I could actually be good at. All my life, I've been really good at everything I've ever done. I'm like an engineering mind. You leave me enough material and enough time, I'll build you a house, top to bottom. There's nothing I can't fix. I could tear into circuit boards. I can read wiring schematics. I could do electrical. I could do steel work. I could do carpentry. I can fix automotive. My garage is a mill when it's not covered in Warhammer figurines. Just everything. Like as far as that goes, I'm like really mechanically minded, and I've always been really good at everything. But the problem is I've never focused or honed in on anything to become like truly exceptional at it. And powerlifting was that thing, I got into it for therapeutic reasons. Like lifting was my therapy. Lifting was my church. Lifting was how I solved my problems and got my head right. And then it turned into more than that because I got into the sport of it and actually turned out to be pretty decent at it. And then there again, it's like, here I am, I'm getting towards the top, and I'm told that I need to stop now already. And I just got started. That's my big resentment. My big resentment is I'm finally catching my stride, and life is telling me you're too old, you need to give it up. And I'm just like, I'm not ready to. I just started doing this crap. When people ask me, do you want to be a YouTuber? Is that your goal? I don't know. I enjoy doing these videos. I love them. I like the little tiny community that I've kind of created. I don't want to say I created, but I do. We all have our little corner, and I really, really enjoy it. Like this is an expression of who I am, and I kind of use it to tinker with the expression of who I am. So I experiment. I like do things just to see how they turn out. Do people like it or not? And some would say, well, why are you so obsessed with what other people think about you? And I'm like, I don't know. I think obsession is the wrong idea. I want to find success with it, but unfortunately, I am the product, and it is a social thing. So the only way to be successful is to put myself out there. So in a way, I'm in this parasocial relationship where I kind of have to care about what you guys think. You know what I mean? I think that's why it doesn't, like, when somebody says something negative about me personally, like as far as like what I am physically, I think that's why it doesn't bother me, because I understand that that's not real. Like that's just a facet of things. It's a feature or a bug instead of a feature. So it's fun content. It's good to talk about, and I like sort of setting myself up to have that be presented, if you will. I'll do something intentionally goofy just to see if I can get a reaction, so I have something interesting to talk about, if that makes sense. Because when I'm walking around in life, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, I am who I am in these videos, but when I'm out in public or I'm on the work, at work, I present myself a lot differently than I do on YouTube. I would say on YouTube I'm a lot more free with who I am, and I'm a lot more reserved in real life, if that makes sense. So I guess it comes down to, like, what are my goals? Like, on paper, like, what is it I want to achieve? Well, I want to achieve financial stability for my family, and I want to find a way to do what I love professionally. And that's where I kind of saw YouTube as maybe not necessarily the path to, but I don't know, in orbit of. Like, what am I, realistically, what are the odds that I'm going to become a successful YouTuber? I don't know, but it could lead to, it has led to, like, networking, to where maybe I can start my own business, like open the gym or take over the state chair for Nevada, and, like, I could do what I love professionally, and it'll be centered around the sport of powerlifting. And YouTube was a way to kind of just get my name out there. And in the lifting community, it's worked. Like a lot of people in the USPA, when I see them at the meets, they're all like, oh, they're familiar with my videos and they knew who I am when I show up to meets. So in that way, this has been a very successful endeavor, and I've gotten a lot out of it. And that's a big reason why I continue to do it. My goal is I want to be the best masters lifter of all time. Now I know who they are. I've seen the numbers. So being realistic, probably not going to happen. But could I be good enough to be included in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I think so. I really do. But how many years do I have left, and how willing am I to really do that? That's the question, because everything has a sacrifice. The more I put in this, the more it takes away from that. And I have like three main things. And I have the family, I have me, and I have my profession. And the more I pour into one, the more it takes away from the other. So it's this balancing act where it's like, we need money, I have to work. I got to spend time with my kids. My wife needs my alone time. We need that romantic one-on-one where it's, as you know, when you have kids and you work, it can be hard to get. So it's this balancing act where I'm trying to keep everybody happy. And on top of that, I also need to take care of me. If I sacrifice myself 100% to everything else and I leave me out of it, I suffer. More and more, I've been studying the Bible, like getting into the Word of God. And with all the things that are happening in the world, it's kind of convinced me. It's the only book, we'll say religion, whatever you want to call it. It's the only book that I've seen that has actual evidence that it's true. And it's enough to where, I'm genuinely interested. I've come to believe, but I have reservations. And the reservations is like, if I give myself over fully to that, it means I have to give up everything I love. Or, rather, it's like I can't be in the world and I can't be in the book at the same time. It's sort of like a one or the other kind of thing. And I'm right there on the crest of the hill where it's like I'm ready to give myself over and live that life. But I'm also still very much attached to, like, my ambitions and the things I wanted to do and the things I've started to become good at. And it's like two paths: give myself over and live this life, or go for it. I'm struggling. Is there any way I can do both? That's the conflict right there. It's like, can I still do the things I love while giving myself over and becoming a man that follows Jesus? Can I do that? I don't know. It's tough. I don't know if any of you guys are Christians out there, or like active Christians, really reading the Word and trying to understand it. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to understand it. And there's a lot of personal conflict with that, and it has me questioning like all the things that I thought were important. I'm finding like, not so much. You got to give some of that stuff up. You got to let go of it, and I don't know. It's conversations I would like to have more of, because I'm still I would say at the beginning of that journey. Like I've come to believe. I'm reading the book, but now what does it mean to like turn myself over and live a life of Christ and still exist and do the things I love and all that stuff? That's I don't know. That's where I'm running into a ton of conflict. I've often maintained that two things can be true at the same time. I am extremely blessed, profoundly grateful for the way things are. And if you told me today that this is your life and this is as far as you're going to go with my profession, with the sport of powerlifting, and with all the stuff that we have, the material things, I would be okay with that. Mostly because I'm with people that I love. I love my family. I love my wife. I love my kids. I enjoy them. I'm very, very happy that things turned out the way they did. So in that way, I'm completely satisfied. There's nothing more I could possibly want. As a matter of fact, I was even tinkering with the idea of like, what would happen if we had another kid, you know. I don't know if my wife's up for that, but the idea's been rolling around in my head, you know. I miss those baby days, but that could be an infatuation thing, so I don't know. But I absolutely love that my life turned out this way, to where I get to care for this little family, and we're all just kind of struggling through life together. Love it. But I'm also very ambitious. Like, I really want to be the best. I want to be recognized as being an expert. I want to be like talked about in the powerlifting circles. And that's a selfish ego thing. But like, is there anything wrong with that? I don't know. And that's kind of where these discussions are, you know. What is right? What is wrong? How are they compatible? How do I move forward? What do I need to give up? What do I need to change? That's the constant conflict that goes on in my life every morning when I wake up. I look in the mirror and I go, all right, what do you need to do better today? What did you do crappy yesterday? How can you fix it? Every day, same thing. How do I get a little bit better than I was yesterday? And these conversations really, they're very thought-provoking, and I'm very grateful for them, because it's weird that you get to answer to your questions when you pray in the weirdest places. I'll tell you what, sometimes they just slap you in the face, and that's sort of what this comment did, and I appreciate Christ is King. Thank you for the response. And my dog's barking. I hope you guys continue to throw comments at me. If I find something interesting, I will do video on it. I love you guys. We got to get back to work. See you on the battlefield.